Well, hopefully you enjoyed that musical interlude right there. Yeah, you may have heard recently that Ozzy Osbourne at 76 passes away. And it was hugely influential in my life. It was hugely influential in me even getting into anything to do with media entertainment in general. He's probably the reason why I went to, work at Guitar Center and got into, retail sales and all of that. Randy Rhoads, Zakk Wylde, all inspirations, and hopefully Ozzy is with Randy Rhoads. I believe he passed away, 1982 at the age of 25? That was really, really sad, but when Ozzy went out on his own, it was a big risk, right? Because he was kicked out of Black Sabbath there in 1979, and then, very next year he has his debut album, Blizzard of Oz, in 1980. And nobody knew what was going to happen. It's probably pretty scary. And I've had a couple of incidents like that in my life, I know that. But I've had some amazing support along the way, and he had as well. And so I just kind of wanted to do something a little bit out of the ordinary, a little bit something special for that occasion. Rest in peace, Ozzy. Very much appreciate everything that you had done, and the people you brought up along the way. Pretty cool stuff. Well, let's go ahead and get our amazing panel talking about Disneyland. And in the wake of the 70th anniversary, we've had some interesting updates to operations, to Stories Matter, and maybe they have stopped their reign of terror finally? I don't know. We're going to see. We're going to find out. Let's go ahead and get them on. It is the one, the only, amazing Nolan Thunder, Erika from Erika and Raph, Ivan from Park Hoppin' on over there, and LW Ghost. Hello there, guys.
Howdy.
Hey, Vash, why are you so cool?
Yeah, well, kind of screwed up a little bit there, but, you know, I'm trying to, like, do the thing because
Vash.
I don't have any room to play casually. But yes.
Oscar Wilde, at the beginning of The Importance of Being Earnest, really summed it up. He has our ultimate English fop playing the piano, and Lane, the ultimate English butler, comes in and he says, "Did you hear me playing, Lane?" He says, "I didn't think it was polite to listen, sir." and he says, "I don't play accurately. Anyone can play accurately, but I play with such marvelous expression." So I'm all, and I thought that was pretty accurate too. I'm not knocking your playing. I'm just saying expression and heart is what matters, and it was clearly from the heart. And so I applaud it, sir. I do.
That's right. Well, hey, I do appreciate it, and yeah, I haven't actually played in a long time.
Really?
So yeah. It's been a while. So you know, I had the amp right behind me. It's like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. But hey, I just amazing and sad to see what happened there. But thank you, Nolan. Very much appreciate that. Anyway, after embarrassing myself royally, Ivan. Hello there, sir. I wanted to ask you, before getting into some of our other stories, because I kind of want to know, were you able to attend the 70th anniversary on July 17th? And if you were not, were you at least able to see Walt Disney, the animatronic, at least after that? Please go ahead.
Yeah, I made it Thursday, for like a couple weeks ahead of it. That day was blocked. Like it was completely reserved for like 2 months. One day I just happened to check. Let me see if it's open. Maybe take a chance, and it was. So I booked it. I was there.
Right.
I went there, and that day I was at home, and I was trying to book the 7 a.m. Nothing. So I said, well, hopefully I get the 12, because I'm actually going to do a park hopping vlog, which should be out today or tomorrow, documenting that day. And I got on all the opening day rides, which to celebrate the birthday of Disneyland. So it comes to like 12, and I do make it. I make it to like a group that is shortly like after 12. And I did hear that it broke down in the morning. I think I don't know if it was the first show or one of the first shows. So they let that group in the morning rewatch it, I think. But my show went smooth. But the thing is that my show was ending when the birthday cavalcade was happening on Main Street. So they didn't completely let us. They told us, hey, you know what? Just this part is foggy. I don't know if everybody went out. I think a lot of people went out, and then the next group went in. But a lot of people had to just wait in the lobby. But I had dropped something. And somehow, by dropping something and looking for it, they closed the exit doors, and I watched the show again. So I was like, okay, well, there's a cheat right there.
Wow. That's really interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I was able to watch it and analyze the animatronic more in person, get a little bit extra video, but it was still good to see it again. And really kind of, because what we saw days before on video is one thing, but to see it in person is another. So I mean, me personally, it's a little better in person, but because of the technology and what you're seeing moving there and everything. But then I think that the mode and everything like that, if you just really start paying attention to it in person, the features, they didn't really get it there. So I think there's still going to be a room for improvement. They've improved the Lincoln animatronic over decades. Hopefully they don't wait decades for this. Hopefully it's within a couple of weeks, months, maybe a year at most. They update it, because I think they are thinking about improving it, and out of respect for Walt, at least himself, if anything.
Well, I really do hope they go back and improve that, because, you know, people, even if they have seen it in person, I think everybody will admit, at least the honest people will admit, that the face is just not quite right. And because the show is so focused on Walt Disney in this very prominent position with perfect lighting, and you're seeing him very close, it kind of has to draw you in. You kind of have to believe in that magic trick right there. And I just don't know if they pull that off 100%. I know some people were actually bringing up good points in that, because the figure is juxtaposed right up against real video of Walt beforehand. Now you can, there's really a comparison there that people, I think, instinctively make. Did you have any of the audio issues that people have been reporting? Some people have been reporting that, hey, if you're in the back of the theater or if you're in other places around that 500-seat venue, you can't quite hear them or make them out as well as if you were sitting in the front. Your comments on that?
The audio for his voice is a little low. So if you're sitting all the way in the back, it's going to be a little difficult to to understand and hear him. You might have to just be really quiet and hope the theater's quiet as well. The good thing is that it was a really quiet audience, so everybody was really paying attention and to what Walt was saying in that moment. But the audio needs to be cranked up.
Yeah, that's something we've heard multiple times right there. So hopefully things are well adjusted here. It's very interesting because we actually have our next story on all about Walt Disney. Not that one. Oh, goodness gracious. See, I can't even control the StreamYards anymore. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Are you going to switch on me? It's very hard. I don't know, Ivan. Nolan, probably experiencing something similar as well. Here we go. From
Computers hate me,
Disneyland.
Vash. I can relate.
Yes, exactly. From Disneyland News today, Disney reveals what happens if Walt Disney A Magical Life cannot perform. If Walt Disney A Magical Life has to go down due to unexpected issues, Disney has revealed that a different show may be presented in the Main Street Opera House instead. The contingency plan is found in the fine print disclaimer for the Walt Disney A Magical Life virtual queue. And here's the full text from the bottom of the page. The Opera House lobby area is available approximately 15 to 20 minutes before showtime. Capacity is limited. Joining the virtual queue does not guarantee the ability to experience Walt Disney A Magical Life. Showtimes are subject to change and cancellation. In some circumstances, the Disneyland story presenting great moments of Mr. Lincoln may be presented instead. Now that's very interesting. The B mode on this, what they're telling you, is that you'll see Lincoln instead of Walt. That I thought was very intriguing. We also have seen reduced operations for Walt Disney as well. Now, Ivan, you probably saw this in the app when you were down there, but the hours list Walt being available from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now, for an East Coast park, not so bad. But Disneyland regularly closes 10, 11, and midnight around this time. Yeah. So that's as many as 4 hours of operation that you don't actually get to see Walt Disney.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're making all these contingencies and they're reducing these hours in order to work on him, as was listed right here in Mice Chat's weekly update. Imagineers are working on the show around the clock to keep the figure working, as there have been a few notable breakdowns. Guys, reduced operations for Walt Disney, or maybe not even at all. Your thoughts?
I thought you were going to say that if he doesn't work, they substitute a robot of Roy, saying you'll never be able to afford all this, Walt. Forget it.
That would be very, very funny. I like that.
That's what and I wonder also. I mean, we have no idea, but since they're on the same turntable in the same theater, and one or the other is supposed to be able to play, how much of the circuitry, how much of the mechanics, how much of the wiring, the switching, whatever, is shared, so that if perhaps Walt went down, Abe would too.
It's a fair
I don't
point.
know.
If I was Imagineering, if I were setting this up, right, I'd have them on two completely different systems. That way you can run each independently. Perhaps they have, and perhaps that's why they can do this. But you do bring up an interesting point for sure. Nolan, please.
Well, you have me a little scared there if they share any of like these circuits or anything. Like, what if Walt starts giving Lincoln speeches and Lincoln starts giving Walt speeches? Then we have like a Freaky Friday tie-in going on. That would be sheer terror right there.
He would get up and say, the world never had a good definition of the term B mode.
The world?
And we need one right now. So
A good definition of the word.
And if we're
beaver.
expecting a transatlantic giant to come across and drink the waters of the rivers of America, we've solved that. We got rid of them.
That's
There's many things in
that's
that
some
Lincoln
deep cuts
speech
right
if I
here.
sat here and thought about it, I could rip through, but I'm not gonna.
If you haven't seen Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, look up that speech. Lou does an excellent job providing commentary on that. But I find this all extremely fascinating for a variety of reasons, because it's like this was supposed to be ready on day one. And I'm not just talking July 17th. I'm talking back in May. And they pushed it back right here. Now, it debuted on Disneyland's birthday, and they had all these events lined up. And I think the Imagineers were told, look, this either opens or it doesn't open, kind of thing. Like, it has to be on this day. So they achieved that, but again, with issues. And some people were suggesting, okay, this virtual queue system that they implemented to see Walt Disney, well, that's going to be on for a period of time. Well, apparently it didn't even last, like, 26 hours or so, because the next day at about 9 o'clock, breaking Walt Disney Magical Life using standby line virtual queue only used when as needed. As of the morning of July 19th, Disneyland's park's newest show, Walt Disney Magical Life, is not using a virtual queue. Walt Disney Magical Life opened to all guests on July 17th, which was the 70th birthday of Disneyland. For the past few days since its debut, guests were required to join a virtual queue. Only guests with a Disneyland park reservation could join the 7 a.m. virtual queue drop, but the 12 p.m. drop was available for guests at Disney California Adventure as well. From what I understand, they say a few days. I didn't see it used on any day past the 18th, but perhaps I am wrong right there. So, people saw Walt, now they go on, which is kind of what happens with this theater, because it's located at the front of the park. It's kind of hard to get to if you're deep into the park. I suppose you can ride the train around, but then you're relying on the train to do that. Do we see, with the virtual queue falling off so quickly, with reduced hours of operation for this thing, with technical problems plaguing this, do we see this going down soonish in order to retweak this or to reshape this? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean,
Yeah, I can see it.
Yep.
I'm hearing.
Oh, well, one way or another, this thing is going to end up going down, whether they want to or not. They can only neglect the problem for so long. I mean, you cannot... We've made plenty of memes about this disaster on screen right now, where it looks like something out of Five Nights at Freddy's. But the reality is, even to Bob Iger, who has clearly shown that he does not have the same type of affinity, I should say, for the Walt Disney Company that Walt Disney and Michael Eisner before him. However, he is very big on wanting to, schmooze his friends, the people he wants to be hanging out with. And if he has basically a Walt animatronic coming out with his pants down, so to speak, then he's going to look like a fool. So one way or another, they're going to have to keep doing repairs, because right now, it's kind of the poster boy of Disneyland as a park, whether they should have put those eggs in that basket or not. So I do think we have some looming repairs. Whether now, is it going to be financially justifiable? Only time will tell on that.
That's
Well, they're
point
stuck
right
with
there.
spending the money to get it working. They just have to now. But there was a time in recent memory when a year, 2 years before, they would plot one of these things out, and they would know what it was going to cost, and they would know there would be a shakedown period, and it would be working on opening day. But as we've seen with Tiana and all the other things, that's the past, not the present anymore.
Really, it's so frustrating as a fan to see these things open and to have so many technical issues, come with them. And I think with the animatronics of today, we kind of knew, right? We kind of knew this was going to have a lot of big issues. And unfortunately, well, I guess that's what we're getting from Walt Disney. By the way, I think I'm hearing a little bit of an echo from somebody. I don't quite know. I hear it, just every once in a while. I don't know if anybody else does or if it's just me. Could be just me. And if it is, that's okay. But just...
No, the echo you're hearing, Vash, is just the empty room because they keep shutting down this darn thing. No one knows when it's going to work.
Yeah, they keep shutting down the opera house because they you know, it's you have problematic animatronic figures. In fact, when Lincoln actually made his debut back in the day, he was a problematic figure as well. Of course, that was 1960s technology. You would have thought that in 2025 we could have a working animatronic in that theater on a consistent basis, but unfortunately,
Ash, that was
not.
60s technology. They put a man on the moon back then. Nowadays, they made a phone that plays Fortnite. Think about the levels.
Yeah, it's a fair point, actually. But, well, we'll be keeping track of Walt Disney and his adventures out there in the Opera House with most interest. I forgot what the line was. Ivan, help me out here. What's the line? Great interest. That's what it is. Yes, because Palpatine.
There you go. I mean, I think just to like add to what we were saying about what they're gonna do to make up for any kind of maintenance, they'll probably just run B mode, run the show that is there. Maybe the moment where he's supposed to speak, they'll have a different clip with those lines there, but a video clip. But that it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be a B mode coming up soon because they can't just leave it like this for forever or anything like that.
It's a fair point.
It makes you wonder. Look, I don't care what the show is. I don't care what the attraction is. If you were today in 2025 plotting out one of these things, wouldn't having the B mode planned, ready, and working be part of the basics of opening it at all? Or would you say, oh, we're so wonderful, it's never going to break, and then, oops, we need it, is not... Well, it's Disney management these days, but that's...
Yeah, you would think so. No, that's just... It's not how it works anymore. Now, there were contingency plans built into a lot of these attractions after the Expedition Everest Yeti and that whole incident with Shared Disco Yeti, and that's become a big controversy around Disney circles, of course. I think Universal actually poked fun at them over that, which was pretty hilarious. But after that, it was like, okay, we have to have contingencies for every one of our lead figures, like the Na'vi, for example, at Animal Kingdom. What is it? Na'vi River Journey, right? The shaman. You see over there in Animal Kingdom. If that figure ever goes down, there you go. If that figure ever goes down, then they
when they make your next calling card,
yes.
It should say host extraordinaire, guitar player beyond belief, and super Na'vi impersonator.
Yeah, Na'vi shaman right there. Yada way, whatever she says. When she goes down, though, they put a screen in front of her, and that's the B mode, right? And
this is the shot that really gets me, by the way. We all know that they got his clothes so exact that he had Steamboat Willie silk linings on his jacket. I don't think so.
Right. Nolan, you were going to say?
Oh, well, I just don't understand the philosophy of the Walt Disney Company to never have a plan B, a backup plan. Do they think they're Alexander the Great, burning the boat so they know they're going to have to win the battle or choose death?
Cortez.
Like, what is their goal here?
That was Cortez. But anyway.
Cortez? I think Alexander did it too, brother.
It was Cortez.
I know he did, but I think he did as well.
Well, anyway.
Anyway. I mean,
the answer is very simple, Nolan. Mistakes? What are those? We don't make mistakes.
Valid.
That is
true.
If they've added a line of song lyric to A Small World, as they have, the line to the Narcissus Hall of Fame theme song is, we don't make mistakes.
Yeah, that's a good point right there. Okay, I think we're ready to get on to our next story, and in this case, it's very, very interesting because I didn't see this on the horizon. Maybe I should have, but well, here you go. From Disneyland News today as well, Disneyland Resort passes 1 billion visitors. I repeat, 1 billion visitors. Just in time for its 70th birthday, Disneyland Resort reportedly surpassed the 1 billion all-time visitors this year. According to Orange County Register, Disneyland Resort would have welcomed its 1 billionth visitor in February of this year. Disney used to announce attendance milestones, including the 100 million all-time visitors in 1971. In 2004, they celebrated the 500 millionth visitor. Bill Trow of Australia, who went to Disneyland at 10:16 a.m. on January 8th of that year. The quote population sign on the Main Street train station was last updated to 650 million in 2013. Disneyland Resort likely would have passed 1 billion visitors sooner if it hadn't been closed due to COVID-19 from March 2020 to April 2021. Yes, 412 days, folks. That's great. Disneyland Resort, an estimated 2.3 million guests visited Disneyland Resort every month. Approximately 75,890 guests combined enter the parks daily. Based on these numbers, Orange County Register guesses the billionth visitor entered one of these parks on February 15th. The park's attendance numbers peaked in 2019 before the COVID-19 closure, according to the TEA, or the Themed Entertainment Association, ACOM estimates. Disneyland and California Adventure combined had 27.7 million visitors in 2023. During a speech on the resort's 70th birthday, the Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger said that the Disneyland Resort had reached almost 30 million annual guests. And that was actually included in his interview with Good Morning America, which I'll get up in the background and see if I can find that. But guys, 1 billion guests at Disneyland. Your thoughts?
Eat your heart out, McDonald's. They can serve billions too.
I was thinking exactly the same comparison.
Yeah. All those burgers. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I accounted for at least 50, 60 of those. I don't know. So repeat visits, but still.
Lots of repeat visits. That's the it's not distinct visitors. It's just
they managed to change the marquee on the Opera House. Why not that sign?
That's a fair point. Yes. That I would have liked to have seen them adjust the overall population number. And like the article said, they haven't done it in over 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. So there you go. This is interesting because 30 million guests, as Bob Iger pointed out, is a very interesting figure. Going off the TEA, or the Themed Entertainment Association numbers, I believe Disneyland averaged around 17 million in 2023. That's expected to grow a little bit in 2024, and maybe be stagnant in 2025. But Disney California Adventure is 10 million plus or so. So that's where you get the kind of 27 million number. If Bob Iger's correct that they're now servicing almost 30 million, that could very well take it over Disneyland Park anyway, over Magic Kingdom, because it was nipping at its heels for the last 5 years. What happens when Disneyland actually overtakes Magic Kingdom, which I think is very likely to do?
Well, I don't think they'll ever tell you that, because the only way that happens is because MK is going down, and they can't admit that.
Yep.
Well, that's a fair point.
They can't admit it. They just can't.
No. Nope, not at all. That's a very good point, actually. Erika, you were going to say something?
Oh no, I think he hit it on the nail.
Yeah.
What is it? I never compared exactly, but the physical footprint of the two parks, Magic Kingdom and Disneyland, how much bigger is MK than Disneyland?
So Magic Kingdom square footage is a little bit larger. I think it's Ivan? Do you know? I'm sorry. Somebody might be interjecting with a number. I thought.
I just wondered because as we're going through that, going through to Galaxy's Edge, where obviously Disneyland, to some degree, expanded, not totally because they took up part of Rivers of America for it, but
right. So Disneyland added 14 acres with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, but
not all of them were new, is what I'm trying to say, because part of it sliced off the backside of the river. So
that's true. But what I was going to say was that you could house more people within those spaces than you could before, right? So even though they didn't, it was a net gain of 14. There was some attrition right there. They cannibalized the river for it. You still got so many more visitors, and that's why I think when Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opened, the expectation was that it was actually going to surpass Magic Kingdom that year, which is why they put the Pixar Palace parking structure and all of that. They were expecting all this visitation. I also think they clamped down on Magic Key, or at that point it was annual pass holder blackout days. Usually you had various days available to you in the summer, even for the cheapest passes. That changed with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I think they moved operations for that. It was a whole big thing. Anyway, they didn't actually happen. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was not that big of an increase that they were quite expecting right there. But with Magic Kingdom now falling the way it has, I think that's to be well expected. Here you go. Let me go ahead and get Bob Iger on the screen so we can hear what he has to say about all of this. Here we go.
Around here, we call our colleagues cast members. What message do you have for the cast members that make this place so special?
They're the ones that are delivering an experience for almost 30 million people here this year alone. And there are 36,000 cast members that work here. So the message from me to all of them would be, thank you. Thank you for creating these memories that last a lifetime.
Now, he said 36,000 cast members. I was under the impression they only had about 32, 33 the last time I checked, but 36,000, that's a significant uptick right there. I believe Walt Disney World has I think it was 100,000 cast members on property at any one time. So, when you have 6 parks, 2 water parks, 4 theme parks, you have, 45,000 hotel rooms versus Disneyland. I think it tops at maybe like 2,800 hotel rooms. It's just a much different equation and how many people actually visit. But park to park is kind of what we're talking about. Go ahead.
And they've laid people off and farmed stuff out and all kinds of other games as far as who's on their payroll versus somebody else.
Absolutely. I just thought that was an incredible statistic. 1 billion guests. Very, very cool. And in time for the 70th anniversary, I think that's pretty awesome right there.
And we might point out, we're lately always talking about Epic's competition with MK, but when Disneyland opened, there was no Magic Mountain. There was Knott's, and there was I think Marineland was open then, but that was about it in Southern California.
Yeah, it's true.
So
yeah, there was a lot more competition that came in, and Walt was very aggressive, actually, especially with what was popping up following C.V. Wood's departure, and he was like, "Look, we've got to keep investing in Disneyland," and Roy was like, what are you doing? We don't even own the park outright. Like, we have to buy back the park from ABC and all these other places that were selling Disneyland to this partial ownership stake there. And it's like, no, we have to keep investing because this competition will drive us out of business. And that's when you get the 3 attractions in the same year. That is the monorail, the Matterhorn, and the, now Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage, but at the time it was the submarine voyage there, and it all opens on the same day, same year, 1959. And C.V. Wood, looking at the TV that day, he was like, wow, that is the biggest middle finger I've ever seen. And so
imagine if they did that now, Vash. Like, you tell it to Josh tomorrow and be like, what? That would take 15 years to make those 3 things.
Yeah, well,
and especially if they were all copies of things we'd already done somewhere else.
And Roy told him, here's the thing. I mean, Disney could never do anything like this, but Walt could back in the day. Walt was like, look, we have to keep investing. Roy was like, no, like I was saying before, and he forbade his brother from doing that. But when Roy left for a business trip overseas, that's when he approved all this stuff and got the rebar and cement in the ground before he came back. And it was like, what? And it was like, we're going forward with this.
Yeah, Roy came back and there was one of those little pink while you were out notes on his desk telling him what happened.
Oh, no.
Indeed. And what is it? The Matterhorn bobsleds was $6 million when it opened in 1959. That was the same price, actually, as Sleeping Beauty at that time, opened the same year. And not the box office success they were hoping for, but that just kind of tells you just how ambitious these projects actually were.
Well, especially the Matterhorn, because it was the world's first metal tube track roller coaster, as opposed to wood.
Absolutely.
I was watching an interesting. I think I put it in our back channels. Interesting interview with Bob Gurr, and he said something I never heard before, which was that they were worried about the metal cracking, on the tracks, on the tubes.
Oh,
so they came up with a great idea. They pressurized it, and they had something to read if there was a crack somewhere, making less pressure inside the track. And I thought, God, that's terribly innovative, and I'd never heard that story before. That's what they did.
I did not know that originated with the
Watch that interview.
Matterhorn.
He talks about that, and he says, nobody had ever done this before. And we didn't want it breaking, and we were concerned about metal fatigue. Obviously, today, the metals are alloys and things much more resilient and tested and used in more things. But it just blew my mind that that's a clever idea, that they just pumped compressed air into it and kept a meter on it. And if it suddenly went down, it was broken somewhere.
Well, no,
even a hairline crack.
Well, I know modern coasters are pressurized. I just didn't know they did it back then.
Well, he invented it. He invented it.
Unbelievably innovative.
Yeah.
You just don't hear about that nowadays, do you? Now, but you do have innovative things. This is innovative for sure. Yeah, shape language, yeah. Well, we're going to be talking about some shape language. Shape of thematic elements outside that might be controversial. I don't know. I'm trying to do the thing, but it's not going to work in that instance. Okay, so fair warning for this specific segment. Okay, we're going to be talking about Indians, not Indians from India, but his term used in this country. To the term used in this country at a certain point for, like you said, Nolan, Native Americans, right? Or indigenous peoples, that's what we would say today.
None of which is true, of course, because they came over the land bridge from Asia, but hey,
Well, one could have the argument right there. But I just wanted to go ahead and forewarn everybody, if you do get offended by that term, just know that this is the term
If you're indigenous, you might have a problem, right? Okay.
So from Disneyland,
or as the Native Americans used to say when the cavalry showed up with their Winchesters, it's a trigger warning.
Yes.
Anyway,
trigger warning. Trigger warning for sure. That's funny. Okay. With all that out of the way, Design News today. Here we go. This is some big stuff right here. Plaque added to cigar store Indian statue at Disneyland Park. Disney has added a plaque to the ground next to the cigar store Indian statue on Main Street, USA at Disneyland. If you don't know what that is, here you go. That's what the cigar store Indian in front of what used to be the tobacco shop on Main Street now is, I believe, the music shop, if I'm not mistaken. It's very interesting. But that used to denote tobacco in various places, not just in America, but actually in Europe, dating back to...
Why did they get rid of it?
Well, no. The cigar store Indian...
The store changed because they don't sell tobacco anymore.
Right. Mm-hmm. But the cigar store Indian has always remained there. And in fact, there's actually two
I was going to say, there's another one in Frontierland.
Indeed, there you go. Yeah. There it is right there. So there's actually two cigar store Indians at Disneyland, but people were very concerned that these Indians would be removed from the park because of the the connection with tobacco, right? It's one of those things where it's like, well, do we necessarily want to make that association with these indigenous peoples? If I can quote Stories Matter, probably. Go ahead.
No, what does the plaque say?
Okay, the plaque is very interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and get to that part of it right here. The plaque reads this. Carved wooden cigar store Indian sculptures were common in towns across the United States. Shops used emblems and icons like spinning barber poles to advertise their wares and services to the largely illiterate public. Now considered a form of folk art, this statue has stood on Main Street since its early days, advertising the tobacco shop that once was located here.
And for people who don't know, the red and white of the barber pole was about blood. That was what the red was for, just like the Red Cross, because barbers were also surgeons of the day.
Ooh, that's very interesting. I actually did not know that.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
So the plaque might have been taken directly from Wikipedia. Okay, so you can see right here under the history section of the cigar store Indian listing here in Wikipedia, it says, because of the general illiteracy of the populace, early store owners used descriptive emblems or figures to advertise their shop's wares. For example, barber poles advertised barber shops, and show globes advertised apothecaries, and 3 gold balls represented pawn shops. American Indians and tobacco have always been associated because American Indians introduced tobacco to Europeans. As early as the 17th century, European tobacconists used figures of American Indians to advertise their shops. And you can see it's very close in wording. There's some
very close.
Well, but
Even
they
some
all, it
distinct
said something
language
about
there.
historical society. Is there such an organization, and are they all stealing from that for the wording?
I don't think there is, and this is interesting, Blue, because the Historical Society, this New Century Historical Society that's listed here, has actually provided plaques for multiple different locations on Main Street. You can see right here, actually, for the Main Street Firehouse. New Historical Society, Walt's apartment. Sitting above the firehouse an apartment for Walt Disney and his family. Though quite small, the apartment is comfortable and fully functional with a kitchen, bathroom, and an area for living and sleeping. Take note of the lamp in the window, always lit to honor the incomparable Walt Disney. And there's one for the Opera House. This regal opera house is ornately decorated, featuring gold-accented architectural details and theatrical masks representing comedy and tragedy. Originally serving as the Main Street Sawmill, that's correct, the building has been a functioning theater ever since. And one for the cannons on Main Street. See right here, cannons, the town square cannon have long been used to memorialize military campaigns, purely commemorative. The two cannon flanking town square are permanently sealed, never having been fired in battle. Dating from the 19th century, these once belonged to the French government. So this is all very interesting to me, because I would have sworn, I probably would have bet money at some point that the cigar store Indians were one day going to be removed, and probably within the next 5 years. That doesn't appear to be the case. It appears that they're going to be maybe labeling things that could be classified as controversial rather than removing them. I just think this is very, very interesting. Please go ahead.
Did this imitation historical society they invented, clearly, did they put that name on the plaque on the petrified log? Wouldn't that be a natural place for it to appear?
That would be a natural place for it to appear. Let me go ahead and see if I can find that out. Ivan, please go ahead.
No, I saw this when I was there, and I know that they made up this historical society, but it seems a little bit antithesis to the Story Matters group now.
Antithesis.
And I think this might be like a little.
That's damn close to shape language, I tell you.
Might be a little win here for keeping the Indians, because I'm like you, Vash. I wouldn't, with the way that was going, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Especially in light of the fact, I don't know if you've seen the news in the last couple of days, but the president is telling what used to be the Washington Redskins, bring back the old name or you don't get federal money for your new stadium. So there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Well, the previous owner of the Washington team there was, they were, he was like dead set. I'm going to keep this name. And a lot of people, was it Dan Snyder? Yeah, a lot of people have problems with it.
Yeah, it was Snyder, and he's also the dude that killed Astro World, so we don't stick him around these parts.
A lot of people are mad at him. I understand that. And they eventually pushed him out. And I believe it's owned by, I can't remember who it's owned by. Anyway.
I don't know. Matter. I'm just saying this is an issue one would have thought had gone away already, but no, it has not.
It has not. And in Walt Disney World, they've already changed out the Native American segment in that version of Peter Pan, right? And
right.
I was expecting a lot of that stuff to occur here.
Right.
Apparently, that might not be the case. Go ahead. No.
Oh, I just wanted to let you know a little fun fact for the audience. The Washington Commanders are now owned by Josh Harris, to answer your question.
Josh Harris. Yes. Thank you so much. I did not know that. Yes. Well, look. Yeah. We've seen, ports, okay? I can't say the term, but if, you combine the term fire and the term arm.
Oh,
okay,
them shooting holes.
There you go. We'll go with there. Very much appreciate that, Lou. But the holes there that Lou was referring to over there in Frontierland at Magic Kingdom have already been removed. It's like, well
renewed is an interesting term. If you look at the pictures that I've seen of them, they have been plugged in with something that doesn't match the rest of it and looks crummy. But they have
That's
been
true.
Because we wouldn't want anyone to think there was any conflict on the frontier between peoples.
Yes. It's like. I mean, it was. here. We'll go.
And
ahead
by the
bring
way,
it up
look,
right
there's
now.
a shooting gallery. What are they shooting at over there?
They
Yeah,
still
there's-
have theirs over there?
Yes, the shooting gallery's still there. Now it's gone from Walt
That's
Disney
so
World turned into a
crazy.
DVC lounge.
And
But
there
it's
used
still
to be
there at
two
Disneyland.
in Disneyland, one in Adventureland too.
Mhm.
The difference
Adventureland
being
shooting
the
arcade as
targets were more jungly in Adventureland. So,
Yeah.
and my
Yeah,
God,
you
putting
can-
aside everything else, they're shooting at animals. Oh my God.
You can see right here
Uh,
though from Walt Disney
yeah.
World News today that the holes there have been
They didn't do a great
patched.
job, did
Oh,
they?
I see.
Not good. But it's like, it's like okay. You're
And
gonna
that's the
remove-
portion they turned into a DVC store, right?
Maybe actually yes, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, just beyond there, I think. Is technically
I think
the
it's
DVC.
underneath there. I think it's where they took out. Anyway.
I thought it was adjacent to it, but anyway,
Whatever.
Look, they've been doing this all over the place, and we've documented here on That Park Place and other different places of the multitude of times where some person who was looking to make things politically correct get changed, and a lot of that was influenced by Stories Matter in particular.
Well, wait
what?
though. The classic story of them doing that is long before Stories Matter officially, and that is
Yes.
the settlers' cabin ablaze on the island. Now, what happened there, and I can tell you through all the various phases of it. Originally, it was a settler's cabin, and there was a guy with arrows in him lying in the front yard dead. And they said, "Oh, those pesky Indians came and killed him." And it was burning, a real fire, but it was against a asbestos background, so the building didn't burn down. Then came the energy crisis, and they said, "Well, we can't be seen to be profitably burning gas when everybody's having to line up on alternate days for gas." So what they did is they made it a fake fire, one of those, like in Pirates of the Caribbean, where there's an orange light on a rippling black tarp. And that lasted for a while. Then they said, well, we can put it back, but we don't want to say that the Indians and the Americans and everybody were all fighting. So what they did is they took the arrows out of the guy in front and instead put all these wax apples everywhere and a still, which you can see in that picture. And so that was old Zeke the moonshiner, who used to keep the keelboat captains in booze. And obviously he fell asleep from drinking too much of his own stuff, and the still blew up and caught the house on fire. And then came the environmental movement, and they said, oh my God, we can't say that. So they put an eagle and two eaglets, I think it was, in the tree, and said, you got to be careful with forest fires because it's not just your house you're burning down, it's those poor innocent animals. And that was, I think, the end of it. But
yeah, and then
no, the
I think that was
permutations they went through just are amazing.
It's crazy how many permutations that they went with the burning settlers cabin. I believe the original structure is no more. They had to relocate it because of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, if I'm not mistaken. That's how that went.
And of course, in Disney World, the answer was, well, don't tear down the cabin, tear down the island. And that's what they're doing.
Yes. You see right here, they rebuilt it on the ledge right there, but not on fire. No post-tragedy incident took place right there.
Giant eagles.
No giant eagles,
booze.
just a cabin.
They'll sell you booze in the park now, but they won't let you watch somebody making it and getting their apples.
Now, the
blown
other
out.
instance that people are very familiar with as well, and that is heavily cited, is Pirates of the Caribbean. And I'm not talking about the auction scene. The auction scene comes in later.
Yeah. But,
I'm talking about this scene.
The
right
chase
here.
scene, yes.
The chase scene, yeah, where the men are being chased by women. Back in the day, that was the other way around. And wow.
God bless him for the improvement.
I think there's like one pirate chasing a woman there, but it's like.
But he's very old and very slow.
Probably.
Yeah. And so this scene was changed. Actually, when World of Motion went down originally at Epcot, a lot of those figures made their way to Disneyland's version specifically of Pirates of the Caribbean to add to this scene and others, which is very interesting. And so we got this scene changed for like food, which, now we're chasing the women because they have food baskets in their hands. Okay. That's the way that went. And then you have the poop pirate, Yeah, Dumb Bear, you're exactly right. The poop pirate has changed multiple times. If you listen to the original audio, it's really something. It's really
As I remember,
something.
Paul Frees did that voice too.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'd be wearing the share, I'd be. And he's not talking about food, folks. He's talking about.
Well, because of
he's
course, when they originally researched Pirates of the Caribbean, here's a maybe not so little known factoid. But the first thing they did was they said, well, let's look into the real pirates and who they were and what they did. And this is back when it was going to be even a walkthrough. And what they discovered in history, in actual point of fact, the number one cause of death of the pirates of the Caribbean was not battle, was not shipwrecks, was not accidents on board, was not drowning, was not plagues. It was venereal disease.
Basically,
so they said, we can't quite put that in Disneyland. What else are we going to do? And
right.
So we have a little tip of the Jolly Roger to that in the original of this scene, I guess. It gives the term "avast ye scurvy scum" a whole new meaning.
Yes, indeed. It's rough. So they did update this multiple times. Now this is the current iteration of it, and then, well, that leads to when they actually redid the auction scene. Even Mark Davis, back in the day, he was a little bit like, "Ooh, Walt, should we do the auction scene? I don't know if this is Disney friendly." But Walt was like, "Hey, no, that's fine. You're going to be okay right there."
Showing your larboard side.
Yeah, exactly.
Look how empowering it is. Like, you can grow up and be a pirate like her. You can be such a great person because they were such swashbuckling good people, weren't they?
Right. And unfortunately, we've lost the best figure to ever grace any attraction ever, and that is the the redhead. Oh, it's so bad. It's terrible.
On the other hand, they're still waterboarding the mayor across the street, right? So it's not totally.
It's all a demonetization today. This is fantastic. Yes, indeed. Let me see if I can get this on screen right now. Here to show you what this scene used to look like. There you go. Take a wench for a bride auction. Then obviously the redhead figure, which is legendary in park lore and everything like that. That figure had to go away because of the negative depictions for women and so forth. But there's some great footage of actually Alice Davis.
Suppose if you really overthink it, like we do every week on this show. Oh, and there's Leota doing it, right?
Yes, actually it is.
Leota Coombs. Since it's bad luck to have a woman on a ship in those days, once they got him, what did they do with him? I mean, they had to leave him behind, didn't they, when they went back to sea?
Well,
I have no idea what the marital laws were in the 17th century, but
it's a fair point.
Anyway,
Alice Davis right there, adjusting some things there for the redhead. But had to get rid of all of that. We also had to get rid of Jessica Rabbit and put a trench coat on her. And there's just so many other things that they've done. So this is why this story, I think, was very important, because it's like the one time they decided not to get rid of something that could be seen as controversial and actually explain, okay, here's the historical significance of this. We're not just being un-PC by having this. This is actually serves a purpose. It's sort of like, when you go to I don't know, Max streaming service, I guess, HBO Max. I don't know what it is anymore. Well, you go there and you look up an old Looney Tunes cartoon. Thank you. Sorry about that. And you get this kind of spiel in front of it, right? It's just saying, hey,
it was wrong then and it's wrong now.
Yeah, wrong then, wrong now, all that.
See,
because
I'm sitting here wondering all these symbols they talked about, like the barber pole. How come pawnbrokers got 3 balls as their symbol? And I thought, did somebody say, you got a lot of blanks for trying to charge me that much for this piece of junk? But I just looked it up. And it goes, believe it or not, St. Nicholas, Santa, was the patron saint of pawnbrokers. And he supposedly gave 3 bags of coins to 3 daughters of a poor man so they could marry. And the 3 balls in the symbol represent the 3 bags of coins. So there you go. Stuff you learn on this show. Might not be the same St. Nicholas. This is St. Nicholas of Bari, wherever that was. But Oh, no, it is. It is Father Christmas. It is Santa Claus. Okay, well there you go. So
that is
stuff
illuminating
you
right
learn.
there.
Stuff you learn. 'Cause,
I find it very, very fascinating indeed. That just about concludes that one. We got one more story, and then we'll call it a day right here. No super chats. Okay, that is just fine. Carry on with the next story right here. This one comes actually from Theme Park Wizard. I saw him in the chat earlier. He might have been on lunch, so he might have to go back right there. But this not good. Not a lot of people reporting on it, surprisingly enough. So let's go ahead and report it right now. This from Theme Park Wizard: accident at Universal Studios Hollywood construction site causes a delay. This by Ethan, obviously, July 16th, 2025. Earlier this week, an unfortunate accident happened at the Mummy Wall project. This is kind of the retaining wall project that they're building out there that's adjacent to Mummy, but it holds up that big old hill, that's mountainside right there.
Oh, no.
And just above that is, well, the Starway,
Oops.
and above that is Fast and Furious. A piece of construction machinery nearly toppled over the edge of the wall on the ground below. The image comes from video from TikTok user Drublu94 and shows a very scary situation where the construction vehicle nearly gives over the then embankment. As of the writing of this article, we do not know an update on the status of the worker driving the vehicle or if any construction workers at all were injured, but we are certainly hoping for the best. As for the status of the project itself, it's now uncertain. If you read our Universal update from this week, you know that this project was moving at breakneck speed.
we hope not literally.
There you go. Yeah, we hope not literally, for sure. Now, it has restarted construction, which is good for as far as the project goes.
I would just
We are
like to remind
thinking-
everyone that all of this construction, these hills are basically clay and sandstone, and B, it is an earthquake zone, folks. So
it is indeed.
they have to anchor stuff pretty darn deep in order to make sure it doesn't go anywhere in the quake.
Let me see if I can get Google Maps up here and just kind of show you guys where this is at, because I think it's obviously very good for
We know where your mind is. Your Google Maps is centered on Las Vegas.
No.
Take me with you, Vash.
No, that's not at all. It's
Well, but when
because
it
my
first came up,
VPN, it's in Vegas. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see if we can't get.
There you go.
Is this
You
going to
can see
work
the
on
construction
me?
going on there.
Okay,
Yeah.
hang on. I think I need the satellite
think I
and
can
the
see my
globe view,
house.
and that. There you go. That's the one. Sorry, guys. I usually do this in the background, but you can see right here, this plot of dirt is what they've cleared for Fast and the Furious. That looks much different today. But this project right here takes place right about there. Is that right about right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
And this is the video. So you can see right there, construction workers actually going over there immediately, because from what it looks like to me, this rolled over. Like this was
Yeah.
going down the hill.
Yep.
And fortunately, that retaining wall was high enough to actually stop this vehicle, but you can actually see right there
And
the
then
top
you
is
can
crushed.
see, now that they got it out and flipped it back, apparently, where the roof was shown. Those things are built, like a race car roll cage. They're very, very, very strong, because they know that, never mind an accident like this, which you hope never happens, but stuff could fall on them from above in construction sites, and they don't want it to be crushable. So you can still get hurt, don't get me wrong, but you see there how that's all that happened to that thing? That's pretty amazing.
It's pretty incredible, because that is very bottom heavy, as one would probably imagine right there.
Which it
This
wants
is-
to be to keep the center of gravity low, so it doesn't
Of
flip
course.
over.
Right. This is pretty
I
harrowing.
hope the
experience.
driver was.
I don't know if any of you have ever
Okay,
driven
I'm
a
sure
Bobcat or
everyone-
anything like that, but I have, and in fact, on a TV set. But they're interesting. They're interesting.
Nolan, please go ahead. I do apologize.
Oh, yeah, I've never driven a Bobcat. But I've driven a forklift before, and those are heavy machines right there. And they got to distribute all that weight and such. And I can only hope that the driver was okay. I'm sure everyone on the panel would agree with that, because
Of course.
like gravity can be one of the scariest things out there, honestly.
Yeah.
Well,
this
especially
is,
with a machine that's built to sit a certain way and be stable, it isn't usually stable in any other direction. And when it goes in that direction, watch out, baby.
Yeah, I didn't see any ambulances or any medical personnel in the
Which
video.
tells you
shown
this was
here, but-
right after it happened that this was filmed.
Right.
Because later there would have been, you would think.
You would
I noticed
think,
this
yeah.
guy watching is not so concerned that he didn't put his drink down. So
Well, is
I didn't
that
even
the
see the
guy that was
driver.
there? Yeah, I was going to say, Erica, is that the driver?
I don't know. Maybe, do you think it just kind of rolled by itself?
Because
It
he's
must
the
have
I
only
think she's
literally
one.
just
onto
happened.
something.
He's
I
the
really
only one
think she
not.
might be onto something there, because look
He's
at
the only one not
the
covered.
vehicle itself. Unless it has a safe lock mechanism of some sort, there's no wheels moving or anything. I could totally see maybe someone parked it there and whoop over, maybe.
Oh, that could be.
I mean, I
That
don't
could
know
be.
how these things are designed. Is it anything like driving a manual where you have to have a parking brake on? I mean, if it's not on, it's just going to roll. Because no one seems to be in a rush to pull anyone out.
Well, the question,
what I mean?
well, you're right, and it obviously is right after it happened. So maybe there was nobody in it. Maybe it was parked and the ground gave way because it was up on. If you go back to the very beginning of the shot, there's a gap between two other machines. They might all three have been parked along that ledge. You see what I'm
That's
you see what
interesting.
I mean?
right
That
there.
hole. If it was parked
Yeah.
there and the dirt collapsed a little bit and it was a little bit weighted that way,
Yeah.
And
you
it
can see
rolled.
where it would have rolled down. Anyway, we're all guessing, so who
Oh.
knows?
Well, I
I think we're
I
pretty
did-
darn good guessers, though.
yes, you're pretty good, Erica. I must say. Theme Park Wizard comes in here. That's also probably why the project restarted 2 days ago. Later, maybe there was no one in there and it wasn't a big deal.
Well,
It's
now that
possibly
brings
the
up the interesting parts of OSHA law. If somebody had been injured, there might have been an automatic, like 1 week or 2 week, let's
right
investigate.
investigation.
If nobody was, then it's like, damn shame, but
I
let's
feel like
press
we
on.
would have heard more.
Yeah, obviously. I think we're all guessing right. It was parked up there along the ridge with those two others, and the spot it was on was unstable. And, we always in Southern California have a zillion little aftershocks that nobody formally makes a big deal out of, but there could have been a little trembler or something that was just enough to crumble that dirt underneath. Anyway, the good thing is it didn't fall over the wall, because if it had hit somebody down below from that height, it would have been very serious. And let's not forget these things have gasoline in them. They have fuel that's combustible. So
That's a really good point. They did put a chain link fence up and then restarted, so it looks like a lucky break. Oh, okay. So they actually heightened that because it's like, oh, this ain't gonna happen again. So that's really, really interesting. Anyway, I wanted to bring it up because, we are all very much.
well, if
anticipating
those of you from other parts of the country or the world visit Southern California and drive around much, you will notice that construction is very different there than almost anywhere else, because you'll see that anything that's even slightly on a hill, there are these extra tie rods and extra connections and extra anchor points just to make sure it doesn't go sliding down a hill when it's built. In fact, I've always heard that they always talk about that someday on the East Coast or in the central part of America, there will be an earthquake, and there will be much worse devastation because the building codes aren't anywhere near as strong as they are in the West, because they've never had a constant experience of it. I mean, lots of people, when the big one hit, in California or whichever one you choose, they talked about that in downtown San Francisco, there would be serious loss of life because all of those old stone buildings have all these gargoyles and cornices and things on them, and they would fall down onto pedestrians in the street,
right,
in a quake. So they had to go through and tie all those in. And you'll see buildings with kind of like a diagonal square, like a big plate and a bolt. And that bolt goes, brick buildings, it goes all the way through the building to the other side to hold it together in case of a quake. They've had the experience to know what to do to make things stable, and stuff happens. Anyway,
Adam Carolla, one of his first jobs, earthquake rehab. Very interesting. And, oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, he talks about it in his many books on the subject right there. But I just thought that was an important story to bring to light. I'm glad you all joined me for the ride. We got one more here, and I want to end in a fun way. So here you go. The story of the Disneyland Keys returns. Here you go. That's all
What?
today.
There's a sequel?
No.
There's a sequel. I know, Nolan. I know.
They're selling a
okay.
commemorative edition with Peepaw's spit on it.
Yeah, exactly, right? All right, so the Disneyland keys, if you don't know what this is, it's an interactive experience. Basically, you buy this key, I believe it was at the time $75 if I'm not mistaken, and once you buy that key, that allows you to go around to every single land in Disneyland in which there are stations where you can actually insert this key in and unlock another piece of this key. If you go to
Vash,
all
what was
9
the grand
lands,
prize?
Underneath where it
gram?
says 70 on the handle there, that opened and there was a pin inside, right?
correct.
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly it.
And you were trying to collect the entire series, and who knew what was in until you went through all that rigmarole.
Right. And you can see the pins. I do believe. Do I have a picture of them? Yeah, that's roughly the picture of them. I actually have them in B-roll, closer inspection right there. But, well, they did sell out and sell out very quickly because the demand was very high. This June 3rd right here, they went online, I believe, after this article took shape here. That was, when was that? I don't know, but before June 3rd. Anyway,
God
they sold out
forbid
very
that you
quickly.
put a date at the top of the article. Oh, there we go. June 1 or 3
June
or whatever
3rd.
that says.
It's 3. Yeah, this is the other article right here, but this is on Newsday. No, they don't do that. I don't know why. But when they came back, they limited it actually to 2 keys per person, down from 10, because the demand was so high for this experience. And we did play earlier on that park place, and T3PO live actually. In the B-roll that I have coming up right here, you can see the demand for this. It was crazy the first day. Actually had a line stretching from the Emporium all the way to the front of the park. Well, what's the sequel? The sequel is bigger and better. The big key. Giant $250 Disneyland 70th anniversary key coming soon.
You know, in my day, there was this wonderful comedy troupe called the Firesign Theater, and they did spoofs of old radio shows. And one of their lines was, "Did you get the key?" And the guy says, "No, only half a key. I had to split it with the sound effects man." But anyway,
Yeah.
but that's not the key you're looking for here.
That's not the
Anyway.
key you're looking for. This by Kitty Francis. A giant Disneyland 70th anniversary key is coming soon. One is currently on display in a case at Disneyana, where it will presumably be available for purchase. Disneyana is located on Main Street, USA, next to the Disney Gallery. It's known as the Bank of Main Street, to those who have been keeping track for long enough. The key is larger and more detailed than the previously released interactive pin key. It has a much larger price point as well at $250.
Is the actual
no. What a
the
waste.
jagged line, the key profile, is that the castle if you turn it right side upside? You see what I mean?
Yes, that is the castle. That's what they're going for. So it's just a bigger version of what was already there. I don't know if this will even be interactive or if it has a pen inside. I've got no idea, but it is very, very large at $250. And here's the thing, to make this story even better, because when I was doing research on the keys themselves and getting my assets collected for this program here, I found out that the original key design might have actually been reused for merchandise. So,
What?
yes. I found this post actually from the Disney Store
Oh my goodness.
official Twitter account. Get a free collectible Mickey's Holiday Express key with a $10+ purchase at your local Disney Store online with code HOLIDAY.
Wait a
This is from
second.
November of 2019. And there's a Star Wars version as
Oh
well.
my God.
This
They
is
had
back
a
in
Halloween
2020.
one too,
2020.
because they sent me one when I bought my pumpkins last year. And it was small. It was like, this big, but
Sure.
yeah, I threw it away. Otherwise, I'd show you.
There
Wait.
you go.
See all the
Erica,
lines that
Erica, you
people
don't know about
lining
this
up
new
for your
thing called
trash can?
eBay that could turn you into a millionaire for your trash? Can you imagine if you put it on eBay now instead of threw it away?
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I'm sorry.
see?
I'm
had
one of those. No, I
I
wanna save you from
the Christmas
yourself.
one, though. The Christmas one's
You
cute.
don't need a piece of plastic. I don't care how. No.
I don't, but some idiot out there thinks they do, and you could have profited mightily from that. Oh well.
Yeah, well,
idiot. I
you
shouldn't say
can
that.
see right
Being
here.
an idiot, at
Whatever
least
you're
that
into,
one
you're
time.
into, folks. And that's cool. And
Yes.
look, the little girl's teeth match the key.
Oh, that's not nice, Lou. Come on, you can't do that.
Look at her grill and tell me that isn't the same profile.
stop
I
it.
tell you.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, you can see right there the pins, the keys, all of that. This is crazy. Okay, I've never seen anything like this before in my life, where it's like they took the limit down from 10 to 2 on this thing. This is a plus $60 item that we're looking at, and now we have a much bigger version. The keys themselves were ending up at Goodwills around the area.
And we all agree.
How much more snacks and food I can get with $250? I'd rather eat my way through any of these
at least 2
Carnival
Dole
or
Whips,
theme
I would
park.
say, by the time they get repricing everything over with, which will never happen because they'll always raise it to more. But you can get two Dole Whips and a fritter to be named later.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have a lot more
$250.
enjoyment than a piece of plastic.
Yeah, well,
Right. $250 is a higher price than it is to enter the theme park that day. Okay,
there should be a little asterisk.
Wait.
Okay,
If that's
good
the only
point.
place you can get it, there should be a little asterisk that says does not include park admission, just like there is
Yeah,
for all the other stuff.
Yeah, Stores Galaxy's Edge, right? You can see right there the line for it on opening day.
Oh yeah, look at those people. Obviously, need a key in their life.
Now, Ivan, if you did pick up a key and do this, we're not making fun of anybody who actually
we
did
are, but that's okay.
Oh, come on.
Well, we are. Come on. They
You're
know it.
free.
We know it, and they think we're wrong, and we think they're curious, and we can go from there. But anyway,
Ivan, did you engage with these keys at all?
Well, that's the first time I'm hearing about $250. If I get that, I have to bring like some sandwiches because I ain't eating any food in there. But,
but that's a good point, Ivan, because what about, as we call it, cannibalization? If you spend the money on the key, what didn't you buy the rest of the day? Sandwiches?
Absolutely
or
nothing.
Anything else?
You can't afford it. You can't
starved.
afford to buy anything. So were you able to see people actually do the whole?
yeah, I saw plenty
There
of
we
people,
go.
kids. There's one by the entrance. I'm curious about it, but how much is the regular one?
I thought it was like
Was what, $75, something like that?
I thought it was. Let me go ahead and get the link here. But do people still do this?
Yeah, a bunch of
Oh,
people. were
wait,
doing
is
it
she
that
going to
day.
say this is the antithesis of being thrifty with your money?
No, this is another woman. Goodness gracious!
They
Sorry,
come out of the
Ivan, go
same
ahead.
mold, these Disney girls. By the way, is that shape language?
You're gonna get us in so much trouble, Lou. But Ivan, do people
Next week, Lou's
still
going to be
engage
reading
with
a
these-
statement like that one girl from The View. It's like, okay, we here at T3PO
Illegal
love all
disclaimer.
Disney park holders. Sorry, go
The
ahead.
opinions
Vash.
of the wise guys on our staff are not necessarily those of the channel. How about that? $250.
Yeah, I
In
thought-
Los Angeles, that'll buy you about 10 gallons of gas. So that's really something.
Yeah. I know to purchase all the keys and hopefully get all the pins if you can get them was very expensive as well, as one could probably imagine.
Because just so
And-
people are clear, Vash, it didn't tell you on the outside what key was inside. So just
No.
like all these things that are collect the whole series, you might have to buy a whole heck of a lot more than the, what was it, 9 of them or 10 of them to get the 10 individual pins.
And what do you do with the extra keys? Well, you try to resell
Mix them,
them.
match them, trade them to your friends.
Well, maybe you can't resell
Vash,
them
can I
as
ask
easily
you
as
a
you
key
wanted
question?
to, which is why they're at Goodwill. Go ahead.
So the bigger key, does that fit in the keyholes, or is it just like a display piece for Disney collectors?
That's what I don't know yet. I don't think this interacts with anything. I think it's just the key itself. I'm pretty sure because it's too big for the interactive elements that they have today.
Maybe you put it over your mantle in your fireplace, like people do with rifles, like Cracker Barrel,
I would love if they had
silver or gold.
Disney. I would love if they had Disney cast members using those the Imperial Guards in Star Wars,
Yes.
keeping them on their shoulder, just
A drill
marching
team.
around.
a key drill team in the parade,
Exactly.
doing formations and present keys, and shoulder keys.
Erika, you were saying right there. Sorry.
I forgot what I said.
You see, it's that genius, guys. We got to do it.
Oh.
Okay.
It's remember the Doodah Parade? Wouldn't a marching Disney key band be great for the Doodah Parade?
I remember now.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I was gonna say if they dipped
That
it
one
in
looks like an
silver or in
afterthought. It's
gold,
like God,
then it'd be a worthy collector's item.
yeah, there you
but-
go.
Yeah.
This guy,
Plastic.
it took him twice to figure out which way to put it. Did you see that? He tried to put it in upside down. Not to say that that's a projection of the mentality of the people who spent the money, but he looks thrilled, doesn't he?
Oh no.
He looks so excited about it.
You're gonna get
All
in so
right,
much
today on
trouble
the
here.
list of people we've made mad today.
Yeah. Random TikToker.
I have more fun with a fog machine than that.
Editor-in-chief of Walt Disney News today.
To complete our
keep going.
key, we. This royal we these people use. Oh, God.
Okay, so Ivan, to answer your question, $60 was the original price of the original key, so a little bit lower than I was originally anticipating, and it was $540 if you bought 9 of them. So there you go.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's with the hope that everything's going to be a different pin.
And not
which
all
is
the
not
all
gonna
the pins
happen.
are guaranteed, right?
No, you don't know which pin that you actually get before you actually purchase that key. So that's kind of like the mystery box aspect of it, right? Kind of like a Vinyl Nation back in the day, that kind of thing.
So would you have to buy another key to try to grab all the other missing pins that you don't
Yeah.
get?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe a
And there's
lot
the
more
cash
than
grab
one or
right
two
there.
That's crazy.
And then the question
Vash, that
becomes,
first
since
picture you
we know
had-
this is all, Chinese slave labor product, assuming they're stocking the store and they open up a box and they put them on display, don't you suppose all the ones in that box have the same pin? You see what I'm saying? In other words,
Yeah.
if you were really out to get them all, would you want to buy them in different venues around the park to increase your odds of getting different pins? I don't know. I'm sure
That's an
somebody has
interesting
strategized this, and they'll be doing a TikTok tomorrow all about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there is a way to open the pin compartment without actually purchasing them, which is why you got to check
Oh,
these things
really?
back behind the counter, Disney. Sorry, Nolan, what were we going to say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say about how, now I lost my train of thought. Oh no. Okay, that picture as you were showing up on screen earlier, was that an edit? Like where the little girl's holding like all those keys at once?
Yeah,
Or was
that's
that,
an edit,
okay.
yeah.
Because I'm like, that looks like General Grievous twirling around the lightsabers. I'm like, I kind of want one of these keys now just to spin them around at night and see what people say.
The next thing they'll sell will be a base unit that matches that $250 key that has a bubble machine in it, and that'll be $500. So you can do this at home.
It's so funny because the original uploader who actually uploaded that meme right there, Derek, who is I believe a prominent vlogger in this space, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong though, actually made that. And if you look at the replies for that post right there, there's somebody here. The great minds think alike, Nolan. Here you go. That's one of the replies. So there you go. You got the General
Thank you,
Grievous
Vash.
keys right there. Yeah, so
I know where
Good
I'm going
stuff.
tonight.
If it
I
were
just-
so, it were a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar paid for it. Little Shakespeare to liven up the show. I just thought, there'll be 8 people out there who'll get that, and thank you, 8 people.
I just love the fact that people will just they'll buy anything, and I guess Disney has found a market for not just $6 keys, but $250 keys. Whew, we'll
Is
keep
it
up.
fair to say that other than they had to make new molds, the cost of production of the $250 key is infinitesimally more than the little one? I mean, it's just a little more plastic and a new mold. They didn't do anything to it to make it more complex or have 4 buttons with 4 different audio tracks or anything like that. So it just goes to show you. I don't know what, but it goes to show you.
They just took the Xerox machine and just hit increase by 400%. Just clicked it right there, and that was the.
Honey, I've unshrunk the keys.
Oh boy. Well, Ivan, what do you got going on in your neck of the woods, good sir?
Stay tuned to Park Hoppin'. The vlog for Disneyland 70th birthday comes out there today or tomorrow, and you'll see me ride all the opening day rides that they still have there. And then I get to go into the Walt animatronic and give you my review there of that on that vlog. So that should be coming up today or tomorrow. Stay tuned to that. On my end, on my channel, Valientes, stay tuned to more Epic Universe content. I got a lot of stuff coming up. I still have to do the food guide, which is a big project video, and then I have to do the have a guide, like a day guide, or it's not even a day guide. It's like a guide just to Epic Universe, like the amenities that they have there, what rides and what food options they have there. So I have that coming up as well. And also on Instagram, Valiant Studios, I got stuff there as well.
Ivan, you do some amazing work, by the way. Definitely follow Ivan on X. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find it in the background right here, your account that is, because he posts some amazing stuff, always great opinions, but also, too, he compiles amazing footage that he's taken in a manner that is much better than anything I can do ever. So it's definitely worth a follow. Definitely check him out on his various social media platforms right there. I'll try to get a link to Ivan. Oh, here we go. Yes. Valientes _ right there. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat right there, that link. Go ahead and follow him there. Awesome stuff. Nolan, what do you got going on over there? Maybe at your channel, but maybe also at another place we like to call That Game Place.
Well, which one are we going to go with first here? Which one are we bringing up on screen, my friend?
This one right here.
Well, bammo! Okay, yeah, alright, you all can vibe with this one. It's called That Game Place, which is the gaming sector of that park place. We cover all the gaming news, and I'll tell you, it's been a doozy, and we got a lot of stuff coming this week. Here this last week, we actually covered some crazy headlines, such as the Lincoln Zelda casting for the Legend of Zelda movie and all the controversy that was going into that, as well as a stapler that was being used during the New York launch party for the Nintendo Switch 2 that was stapled for people to have their receipts, which actually damaged the Nintendo Switch systems, stapling the screen. Wow. And here's the crazy thing. So the people behind it, like GameStop or whatever, they went ahead and did like a charity auction to sell off that famous stapler, and it actually sold for $250,000.
Oh
so
whoa!
You can buy a lot of keys with that money, but not as much as you'd like. But yeah, no, it was crazy. So if you'd like to check it out, please check out our newest stream. Zelda Makes Waves and Ubisoft adds to Questionable Actions. And we're also getting into the groove of getting some videos out in there. But every week, Saturdays at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want a vibe in Saturday with lots of fun gaming news, please check out That Game Place.
Fantastic stuff right there. Very much appreciate that. And I'd be remiss if you didn't talk about a little bit of Nolan Thunder, the YouTube channel. Please.
Thank you. I've been editing like a madman because of Mario 64. I'm still working on a documentary. However, I've narrowed it down to it's going to be out in a few weeks. I'll work and no play and make Nolan Thunder a dull boy. But yeah, no. It's coming. It is so dang close. I'm gonna make Extreme Meme in the chat so proud. He's always letting me know the video's not done yet, but Extreme Meme, I see ya, my homie. It's coming. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be the greatest moment of your life. It's gonna be like a wedding. It's gonna be amazing.
Absolutely. Erika from Erika and Raph. What you got coming up in your neck of the woods?
Well, I'll be on Lorena's Spice Lounge tonight at 7:30.
Ooh,
And
good. I'll watch.
On Wednesday will be I'll be on Ron's stream. I think he's having an evening stream.
Ooh.
Yeah. And follow the Bradley's Fun. And then Thursday, and I got a link for you in the back chat there, Vash. They're one of our followers who kind of follows all of our channels. Dad Man Walking 55 has invited me to his stream just to talk about me and Raph and our channel. It's a small up and coming channel, so I thought I'd give him a shout out. and a really sweet guy. He just likes to stream and just talk about anything. And there's nothing planned. We just kind of go with the flow, like we're having coffee and tea in a living room, hanging out. So, and that's on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, that's me
Awesome
this week.
stuff. Well, very cool.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much, Erica. Very much appreciate you providing all that info right there. And I have been a terrible host because we've got some super chats here that I've got to get to. So let's go ahead and get to those right now. Go and Shogi with the 199. Gravity! It comes for us all. Yes, it does, apparently. And apparently comes for, little mini bobcats as well. So, yeah, just, mind your P's and Q's around that gravity situation there. Matt B with the 199. Hail to the 199. Thank you so much for this epic ride this Thursday on Peacock T3PO Reviews.
I forgot that was coming. You're absolutely right.
Fun fact about that documentary. I'm 99% sure I saw them filming it, actually, at Isle of Burke. I am not in it, but I got to talk to, I think, some of the people who were working on it, some of the camera crew. So I'm excited to see that.
Alicia Stella put out a tweet earlier that said that might have been delayed, and I was like, well, what's going on there? I hope it's not. I hope it's gonna, July 24th. Okay. All 3 episodes on Peacock, Thursday, July 24th. I'm being told this has been delayed till later this year. Now I'm devastated. So that's what Alicia said. I need an update on this. Peacock, get with it. We need our epic making of.
By the way, Alicia just
see
put
this
up
Peacock
a new.
or fists? They're in the air.
Alicia just put up a new deep dive into the Universal UK docs. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting.
She puts a lot into those videos. I've seen her editor page. Yeah. Man, it's crazy. Go and Shogi with the $5. When I was there last weekend, half of the key ports were broken. Oh, no! No! Oh, they set up temporary portholes on garden tables next to the broken ones. No effects. Come on!
Hey! They can alter them so that when you shove the key in, it electrocutes you and you stand there with a dull Tiana look on your face for a few minutes.
That's so lame. Disney, stop being lame already. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, Disney, get hip. Get with it.
They're interactive keyholes. How hard is it? Look, Walt Disney. Okay, I get it, I guess. What? Keyholes? Can't keep keyholes? Okay. Lou, we got going on over there in your neck of the woods?
Well, they're going to shove things down my esophagus on Friday. Oh, you meant in the channels. Okay. Well, anyway, they are. What can I say? They want to look at my heart.
True.
And apparently the way to a man's heart is through at least his esophagus is not his stomach, if you want to do a ultrasound. But anyway, other than that, however, I'm here, most days, and on the Monday night super secret double probation show with Pro. And of course, you and I have this little dance we do on Sundays called
Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you.
See, I can't say the name because I can't say Lou and you because I'm him. But anyway, we do fun stuff over there. And we solicit your input, as they say. And then, of course, the genre guys are moving forward on almost every channel except one I can think of. And I see what Pro just put up. Gosh, now I can't remember what movie it was. But all of you people getting free memberships on the Pro channel can see all the exclusive preview versions of the genre guys where Lauren and I, and usually Hangry, but Hangry's been distracted with some real life stuff. And so Nolan's been there. And we go deep into movies. And I always love it when I pick the movie and the guys watch it, before you've ever seen the show. I got this wonderful message from Lauren about one of the movies we're about to do. And all it said was, "This one's disturbing." And when that's all Lauren says, it reached him. And I just love that. That movie being a movie called Seconds, which if you haven't seen it and you're ready for something really disturbing with, of all people, Rock Hudson, you need to watch that movie. But anyway, we got a bunch of good ones coming, and there's
Not
that.
to step on you, Lou, but speaking of good ones, the one Pro just uploaded was actually The Great Outdoors.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Oh,
But,
there you go. I love that. Oh, so good.
I love when they cut off in the middle of a sentence. A sinister company transforms a plain client. That sounds like the antithesis of shape language to me, but what do I know?
Shape language. Oh, we got to play
And
it.
so what we've tried to do is really bring that shape language from the architecture.
But like what we love to talk about at WDI is shape language. And we often refer to shape language.
There's such iconic shape language in Spaceship Reverie Attraction. We really wanted to make sure that we fused to that throughout the space.
You didn't. Well, of all the cheap, lousy ways to save a buck.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
You
know,
gotta save your
that
bucks
was
up so you can
awesome.
buy a $250 key, and that's what you need the bucks
well,
for.
it's one of those things.
don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
There you go. Got them all. So, on that note, let's go ahead and say goodbye. We're going to get you on over to New Rock Radio over there. I know Pro's got some amazing tunes lined up for us. And in honor of Ozzy Osbourne passing away at 76, 1948 through 2025, if I'm not mistaken, as I believe Sander Hammerslag actually provided in the chat right there. Amazing artist, amazing producer, and really, really phenomenal in his influence on the rock genre. If you want to see me rock out, well, you can go to the top of the stream. But to see others, well, just stay tuned, folks, and we'll get it right over to you. Thank you so much for watching T3PO Live. We are going to have another stream, obviously, next week at 3 p.m. Eastern, so definitely subscribe for that. Hollywood Backlit with Lou and you every single Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And at 11 a.m. Eastern on That Park Place. Every single Tuesday and Thursday, live streams, Morning Magic's there. Thank you so much for joining us here. Let's go ahead and get some music on going, and we will see you here next week. T3PO Live. Thanks, guys. See you then. Not. What? Not that one, StreamYard. Come on.